Okay.
Okay, we are recording now.
We are recording.
So just quickly from my side, I fought through a number of issues and got back out into my backyard, which was a good thing. And I have the BNO085, I think, hot glued to my tractor. So I've got a plot here of rotational velocity, which on the BNO085 is the z-axis. So that's one plot. This plot is what's referred to as IMU accuracy as far as the Ross topic node, but it's in the BNO085, there's I think 3 different accuracy data points you can pull, and this is the gyro accuracy setting. And then up here on this is 2 speed data points. One is the mechanical magnetic sensor connected to the left rear wheel, and the other is the speed data coming off of the GPS. So this basically is saying, what's the speed from 2 different sources. And the top is heading data coming again from 2 different places. One is the GPS derived heading data, and one is the heading data from the BNO085. So anyway, progress getting out into the yard, progress reminding myself how to use plot juggler at least a little bit, and yeah, there's the data.
Just to comment on your speeds, when you get more into analyzing this, keep in mind your left wheel encoder is not your true speed. In order to get true speed, you have to have your left wheel and your right wheel and take the average of those 2. So if you're going around a circle, going one direction, it's going to say you're going faster than the other direction. And yeah, for the moment, what you have is good to show you that it's all working. But when you go to analyze it later, you may want to keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what's interesting is to show the GPS is showing one speed, and because it's making a particular turn, it drops down. So there's going to be a correlation between this rotational velocity and that speed, which I thought was pretty interesting. It's just a visual representation of what you just said. It'd be fun to have plot both wheels, and so you could see one line go down and one line go up. So anyway, my next step was, I guess, twofold. Well, I need to get the right speed sensor installed and feeding data. I was also going to install another second IMU and compare data, and then was also going to try to work on some sort of filter to smooth this out a little bit, and then ultimately try to feed the rotational velocity into the steering control, so it's using that for steering control instead of this arbitrary -1, +1 number. So that's where I'm at. A little bit of progress.
Yeah, it's interesting. Your rotational velocity is noisy. I wonder if that's just your engine running. So the thing is vibrating as it's sitting there.
Yeah, I mean, you can see when it's just sitting here, 0 speed, it is vibrating. But the accuracy is at 2. here, the accuracy is at 3. And it's just sitting there, but I'm still getting noise, less noise, because I think the accuracy is higher. But there is obviously, vibration going on.
Where is your IMU physically located right now on your lawn tractor?
I wish I had a picture. It's sitting on top of, I have a Pelican case with all my electronics in it, and it's sitting on top of that Pelican case.
Because
What case? What?
Pelican is a brand name for a high impact plastic waterproof case.
so as far as your mounting, keep in mind that due to the vibration and the resonance, depending where you go on the vehicle, you're going to find higher vibration at some points and lower vibration at some points. And it might be worth, just poking around and finding somewhere that gives you or you could probably just put your hand on it while it's running, put your hand on it and feel it. And if it feels like it's vibrating a lot, touch somewhere else, maybe right on the frame, and see what it's doing. So you might just get better results by mounting it somewhere else, was my point.
Yeah. That's a good point. I'll try a couple places and see what sort of vibration I get. And I don't, coming up with how to actually use this rotational velocity and the steering control. Has anybody seen any code of how people actually use the rotational velocity as input, and the PID that they use to manage target rotational velocity and actual rotational velocity?
No, but I hope that in the next month, 2 or 3 months, I will be seeing some of the code. I got the code, but I don't understand it.
Well, please share. What code did you get?
Let me. No. Okay. Are you seeing my computer?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. This is the STM32 ID. I'm I'm in the middle of trying to understand this, because this is a platform that I didn't work, but the robot that we are working in the Spanish community works with this hardware as a middleware between the Raspberry and the sensors. Today, at an hour ago, I was able to open the firmware. So I don't really know what I got here, and I have to dive in, and I hope that I will be able to get something, because I don't want to jump out in the meeting. So when you finish and it's my turn, I will explain a bit more which are the problems that I'm facing.
I have finished. It's your turn.
Oh, okay. Well, this week I've been working mainly in 2 things, or in 3 things in ROS. As always, the translation, the community, and the robots. From the translation, I've been working in the chapter of the ROS wiki about the ROS launch files. And I'm really amazed about how complex is the launch files. Although they are simple and plain XML, I didn't know that you have the if statement there, and you can configure and you can set up them to switch between environments and ROS environments too. That was very interesting, and maybe I get a surprise. I didn't remember that. So here I will post in the chat there is my, I don't know how to say, the frame that I'm working with the issues in the community. Maybe the problem is that here in Argentina we have a saying that is, it's like being Adán in the Mother's Day, because we are all alone. And we are free working in this project because we lost one of the guys that was working, that was an electrical engineer, and was working in the transition between the STM32 to the ESP32. So now we are trying to rearrange the team. And one of the things that we are it's getting very complex, is to get, there are a lot of missing chips in the market, and we are not able to find out the boards to work. And this is not just a problem in Argentina. The board that they use to develop this with the ESTM, with the STM32 is not viable. So we have to play with the code again and trying to change it. And that was, I get some similar board, but I'm not sure how I will use it. But the good thing is that the guy that made this is helping me a lot and guiding me through the process. His name is Gonzalo Cervetti, and he's very helpful. So we are very little, but they are helping me a lot. For the land tractor, I have stopped the land tractor till I can make this and advance more in the reading of the documentation of ROS, because I feel that I need to learn more. And well, that's where I am now.
Are you running the same main program on this STM32 that Matt originally wrote?
No, this is much complex. This is really much, it's very different. But
I understand the board is different, but what code are you running on the board?
no, I wasn't able to run the code for now, because I don't have a board that is switched to this code. I cannot get this board. So I bought a similar board that I'm receiving it next week, I think, and I will try to change the code that I have, this code, to match the board that I'm receiving. The board, let me show you.
I'm less interested about the board and more interested about the code. What code are you going to run on it?
The code that I got here in the ID.
I don't see any code.
No, because this is the presentation that I'm not familiar with this software, the device configuration tool, the STM STM32. This is the first time that I was able to open the. No, I don't know how to show you the code.
Did somebody give you this whole package?
Yes, the community. This is the community package that we are working in. It was the guys that work in Ecumen, that is a robot software factory here from Argentina that works with the Robot Software Foundation. That was one of the places that we went when Matt came to Argentina. We went there. When Matt came, we wasn't able to work with them. I don't know why, because I think that we didn't get the right.
I think we've lost you, Juan. Can you hear me, Jeff?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was going to make a few comments on this, which they would be actually to Juan, so I don't know if it'll do any good here, but this is the same development system I'm running, and that's the same chip that I'm running. And I actually have the code open. I have that same IDE opened up here on one of my windows, and his doesn't look like mine. It used to be these were two separate packages. So you would have the one that's an Eclipse-based editor to write your code, and a separate program to do the configuration, which is what he's looking at right now. And then somewhere along the line, they merged those two together. So you just click on a button, you bring up that configuration page he's got. But looking at his screen right there, I can't figure out how to do that with what he has right there. As the stuff gets more and more complicated, it's just harder to figure this stuff out.
And is his IDE the next generation or the previous generation, would you guess?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess if you pull the screen up again, it might be obvious, but you might still be able to run that configuration as a separate program. Mine, I just say start up the IDE, and then buried in that, you have to figure out how to get that. So Juan, the question has come up. That IDE that you're running, is that the newest version, or is that just an old version that you had around? You seem to be on mute.
Sorry, Chef. I think that it's the newest version of the ESTM32 Cube ID. It's the first time that I'm using it because I was unable to do it last week. Last week, I set up the Raspberry with the Docker image in a Raspbian, in the bastard Raspbian. I was able to test it. I bring up the Docker file in the robot, but I was missing the board that is managing the middleware to the sensors and the other part of the robot. That board is the one that I'm trying to explain, that I cannot find the original board that this was designed for. So we are trying to test another board and do the port to the ESP32. But I don't know how long will take this because I'm not the most resourceful guy in coding, but they are all willing to help me. So I'm not sure how long this will take.
When you were offline there, I was talking to Al, and it turns out this is the same chip that I'm using, and I'm using that same IDE. And let me see if I can share my screen here.
Yes. I was when I was trying to show you.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So here's my, see, I got to get these out of the way again. So my IDE looks like that, and the new version of it, which is apparently what you have, if you fire it up, just fire up the IDE, it shows you your code here, and then it's real hard to find that screen you just had. But if you come over here, I think if you double click on the what they call
Okay.
the IOC file, and then it brings open this window. And there's the same thing you had. It's real annoying because they put all these windows in there, and now I've got this little tiny window. I can't see anything anymore. Can you see my screen? I should ask that.
Yes.
Yes,
So
yes.
So here's the thing that you were just showing, where you're showing the chip itself, and then I can go through, and then all the peripherals, I can set those up. But the point was, you said you didn't know how to do anything else with it. Somebody, you have to get back to this screen. I guess this is Project Explorer. So maybe if you go to the top and say View or Window,
Okay.
and then say
Let me
Project
see.
Explorer, and then you might be able to pull up that stuff on the left there. So
Yes.
I'll stop sharing here if I can figure out how to do this. Where is my, how do I stop sharing? Huh. Oh, there it is, back behind. Stop sharing. Okay.
Oh, you're looking at my computer now?
No, we're just looking at you.
Okay, let me. Now?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Mm-hmm. Oh. I'm not sure what I'm doing. So
I have to keep poking at that, trying to get it to try to figure out how to run this thing. And then once I get it running, then I don't think about it again.
cancel.
Maybe over on the left there where it says, well, it does say Project Explorer at the top there. See up in the upper left, it says Project Explorer. Go over to the right. What's that little thing? It looks like pages of paper there. No, down, the line down. Yeah, right
Here?
there. Yeah, what's that one say?
No, it
Firmware.
doesn't say nothing.
That looks like the same. That's the same thing you just had.
But no.
Over to the left, those things that say C. What do those do? No, that says new. Don't do the new one.
No, new.
Well, say click on that one you just had that says new source file and see where it shows up.
Yes, wait.
Click on that one and see, it'll create a file and then see if it shows up on the screen. And just call it whatever you want. So I would expect an editor to show you that somewhere, and I don't see that.
Yes.
So.
No, I don't know. I will need more.
And
more
one thing
time
that
with
might
it.
be handy, start a brand new project, and that way it'll bring it up. It'll show you the editor and show you all this stuff. That sometimes I have to do that. I have to start a whole brand new project just to get everything back to the point where I can see what's going on.
Yes, but the problem was that I thought that this I didn't start. I didn't finish the installation process in the right way, so I thought that I couldn't use the IDE. But the other day I was looking again, and I think that I was successful. So I tried to load the firmware of the device, and I was able. But today, not. I've been working the whole week to try to do this. I ended up doing an hour later, but an hour ago, sorry. an hour ago, so I don't know really how to use it.
And then do they have a simple hello world type?
No, because the main thing that we were talking now, I will show you our conversation. I was talking to Gonzalo, and Gonzalo was saying to me that this window, that in this window I will have to work with the pins, because the thing that we think is that we only have to change the pins. So I think that I will ask him next week to find out and schedule a meeting and try to do this with him when I receive the board and see if, without changing any code and only changing the pins that are here, reassigning the pins, I'm able to use the board that I have bought. Try to do the easiest way. If I fail in this chance, I will go to another thing. But this is my plan of action.
And is this firmware stored in a GitHub location or
Yes.
only in your?
I put it here in the.
It's in the chat window.
In the chat window, I was able to let me. No. Here.
I didn't have chat open, so I'm sorry.
No. In the chat window, you are able to go to the ROS S page, and there you will find out this is the project that we are working. Sorry, I will share my screen.
No, I've never seen a GitHub organized like that before.
Well, I try to put my best to do this, but it's very the best thing that I get this year is the organization techniques. I'm not successful on organizing on using them, but I'm trying at least. Here you let me share my screen. I will show you where is the. Wait a minute. Okay, here in my here. Well, let's go back. If you can see, Ecumen, they really play very nice with us, and they allow them to free the code in, I think, the MIT license. So here you have in the repository of ProcessP, you will have the NOAA software and the NOAA hardware. The NOAA hardware, if you go here, you will find, I'm one of my tasks is to try to put this in Spanish, so you will find it in Spanish, but the original repository, that is this one, is in English, so you can, here, I will put the one, let me, where's the chat? I lost the chat. Here. I will put here is the original repository of the hardware. And if you go to the firmware folder, you will find out what I'm working. The folder that you have saw in my IDE was this one. But I'm not able to explain myself more because I don't. This is new for me. One thing that this week there was an important news about Mikrotik, because Mikrotik has allowed zero-tier VPN to be configured in the routers. So I didn't try it. I will try it maybe in a month or two, but that's something that maybe it's very important, because you can configure zero-tier directly in the routers in the robots.
Do you still have that screen open that was showing that your IDE?
Yes. Do you want to see it?
Yes. Can you display that again?
Yes. Wait a second.
Okay, go over on the left where it says app. On that box under, yeah, open that. That's where your source code probably, there's your source right there. So click on source and task and utils. Somewhere there should show your C code, maybe open tasks. Under tasks is probably, since you're using an RTOS, it's probably listed under tasks. Yeah, open that one. Management. So each one of those, but keep open something till we see some, there's some code. So click on one of those and it should show it to you. There it is. There, now you're back to where you need to be.
Thanks, Chef.
So it's just a matter of, I looked at that stuff you're just showing on the GitHub, and I dug through there under app and found the source code there. So that shows you what you need to do there. And then for that, I was also thinking the upper right hand corner, there's like 3 or 4 little icons, and one shows like a page with a little star on it, and one's the kind of configuration. Yeah, those right there. What does that say? Open perspective.
Open perspective.
So perspective. Yeah, and then one says C++. That would have brought up. I think that probably would have brought up your C screen too.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you click on the one on the right, that's the blue one, that'll bring up your pin configuration again. Well, actually, it just hid it apparently. So click on the. And the problem is the stuff is all there. You just have to keep moving it around until you can find it.
Yes. But it's not easy.
So at this point, go back over to the left there, and down towards the bottom, it says the blue icon says firmware IOC. Try double clicking on that over under Project Explorer on the left. Yeah, try double clicking on that. See if that brings your pins back up.
No, you get me to this. The project was set up using ESTM32Q firmware version.
I would say, can you just continue there? Eventually, you might want to go through and do that migrate, so it's at the new version that you've got. But keep in mind, you can't go back and run it on the old stuff if you do that. So that's okay. There, you got that back again. So now at this point, I think you go to the left under app and one of the C files, or no, at the top. See, you've got the tab. It's creating tabs across there. See, right above the chip, then it says, one of them says ROSCOM CPP, and one says ROSCOM's node CPP. So if you just switch to a different tab, that should show you your code now. Okay, so there again, I don't know what that's asking, but the point is, and then you go back to tab that says firmware IOC, it should come back and show you the pins again. So now, okay, there. So now you can navigate around and go through that stuff. So back to the point, you said you're getting a new board. So apparently they built a custom board originally with this chip soldered down to it. And now you bought an eval board now to replace that?
No. It's a mix about what you are saying. First, they used, let me show you, the they use this one, the ESTIM32 Discovery.
Okay, that's the board that I have.
Oh, well. Yes, we couldn't find out this one in Argentina. But because the one that he used was one about, I don't know, I think it was this one. It's about, how can I say it? En dólares serían $30, something like that. But I got, as I couldn't find that one, I was able to buy, Al have gone.
Oh,
I will show you. I remember what you have said about your board, but I didn't understand it till last week. And last week I was in the middle of a travel, so I was traveling, not that I have a travel. I'm trying to show you.
you seem to be having connection problems. No, I'm not hearing anything. Are you still there, Juan?
Chef?
Yes.
I don't know what happened. My computer crashed, so I'm in with my phone now.
Okay.
I don't want to end it that way, the the meeting. So I remember when I begin working with the last week, I have the flash in my head that you were using a similar board, but I wasn't sure about it. And was one of the things that I had to ask you this. You use the same IDE?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe I will bother you with some questions.
Okay.
I think that next week I will get the board. I was trying to show you the board that I have bought. As Gonzalo said me, it's only a difference is my board is more expensive and it got less memory than the Discovery board that you use. But he thinks that rearranging the pins will let me go forward.
And it could be you don't have to change the pins in the software. It's just where you hook the wires up. You just have to hook them up to the right spot. So it may be, fairly easy to do that.
Yes. but I'm not sure because I think that he's expecting me to receive the board that I have bought to try to see the specs, because that's something, sometimes this change between boards and boards.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have something that you want to share or ask?
I was a while back, I posted the Slack channel and my robot ran away and was out of control. And that scared me at the point. I was trying to decide how to track that down. So I run it a couple more times and it's done that to me again. And this time I didn't have to, it wasn't in danger of running out into the street or hitting a car. So I just kind of watched it for a while to see what it was doing. And I decided that, first I decided my microcontroller may have locked up and it was just ignoring me. And then I decided, well, that can't be, because I can see on the plots, it continues generating plots. So it's not the microcontroller's locked up. And I thought, I've got that between my remote control receiver and my main microcontroller, I have a CAN bus that I made. I decided, well, the symptoms are that if I'm not getting messages across that CAN bus, it will act like this. So I went to the trouble to hook up a USB to CAN converter board, and that's plugged into my Ross computer. So now I can see, as it's running, I can see the CAN message that's generated on the remote control receiver. And then in the microcontroller, at the point where I get the call back there, it just grabs the fields and puts them into variables. So I tacked those on the end of my message that I put out for Ross. So now when it's running, I can see both the message that's generated and the message that's received. So I took it out yesterday to drive it around to see if that would tell me anything. And I drove a lot further than I normally do, and my GPS dropped out. I only got half the data. And then later on, when I was coming back to my yard to park it, that I blew my 20 amp fuse, and I haven't tracked that down yet to see why it blew that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's just a matter of getting it to run again and then go out and drive it and see if I can recreate the problem.
But I don't, that's something strange, because I have similar problems with that, and left me thinking that it's like an override of the code, because if the security code is all right, the robot had to stop.
Well, on mine, I should put a timer on it. So if it's not receiving CAN messages, it just comes to a stop. And I don't have that code in there right now. So that's something else I do need to add.
Yes, and I think that in my code, there is something similar, a similar error, because that was always something that bothered me, that it didn't stop, and the other thing that I thought was that maybe he was getting a navigation error and not getting the data right. Was one of the things that I was thinking, because maybe he's thinking is the robot is thinking that it's in another place else that where he is, and he keep on trying to reach the place that he need to be, and that left me thinking that maybe that was the error.
At the point that I'm at, I'm not even running navigation software. I'm just driving it with the joystick. So it's, I've got more fundamental problems than that. So I just need to get all the drivers working right and make them reliable, which they're not right now. So I'm still working on that, trying to track that down.
Okay. So I will well, something that it's very interesting about the launch files that I was that I was working this week. I didn't finish translating all the arguments that you can use in the launch file, but that's something that you can put in the launch file.
So I guess that's all I have for this week.
Well, I'm the same page. So see you next week.
Okay, I'll see if I can figure out how to stop the recording and save all the stuff. So let me make sure I have the chat saved here. It's not obvious to me if when people would post the video and the chat, I don't know if it saves it. So I just manually save that. Well, this is the first time I'm going to try saving a recording.
I think that
so
it will leave you in your folder a TXT file.
Okay.
With the chat.
Yeah, I'll find that out pretty quick here. So we'll see what happens.
Well, have a nice weekend.
Okay. See you later.
Bye.